Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Nicole Frolick, and today I want to talk to you guys about accessing your Akashic records. I kind of promised you guys this video just around the new year, and there's just been a lot going on, but I'm able to finally sit down and do this video. I want to let you guys know how I was able to first access my Akashic records, which, to be honest, I didn't even know I was doing at the time. It wasn't something I set out to do. It just kind of happened. And I know there's a lot of beliefs out there that it might be difficult to access your Akashic records. But to be honest, if you believe that it's difficult or you need someone else to do it for you, then that's likely going to be your reality. The truth is that any of us can access the Akashic records, and it's just a matter of tuning into a frequency that you are able to believe that you are capable of doing it. It's really quite simple as that. We know how powerful the mind is, and we can often put a lot of blocks around our abilities to receive, especially when it comes to receiving energy. So the first time I accessed my Akashic records was in 2016, and I had been doing a lot of meditation. This was probably one of the heaviest times where I was meditating every day, 2 hours a day. I just loved meditating. It was like my one thing that was always consistent in my life. And so probably about just towards the end of 2016 is when I first accessed it. And how it happened was I first found myself in the sun, which I know sounds a little bit interesting, but I was kind of communicating with Ra, the god of sun, the sun god, and just kind of receiving some energy and all that. And it was pretty intense. And I got this immediate response or message that I needed to ground myself, and I had to do it by grounding myself right into earth. And so I found myself kind of floating through the atmosphere in a way, because that's just how I visualize it, and landing in the forest barefoot. And I could see my feet hitting the bottom on the leaves and the twigs on the forest floor. And I kind of was seeing how my feet were walking. It was really interesting. It was like all I could see were my feet. And as I was walking and paying attention to the forest floor, I saw a golden key hidden, like not hidden, but just kind of lying under some leaves. So it was partially exposed. So I picked up the key and I looked, and beside to my left was a huge tree. And as soon as I looked at it, like a door kind of appeared on its trunk. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say that I have a very vivid imagination, and visually that's one of my strengths. Like, it's really easy for me to visualize things. And so this is just how I guess I envisioned it. It came through to me. A lot of times your higher self, your guides, your angels will communicate to you in the way that they know you're going to receive the information easiest and most tuned into how you perceive things, okay? So this is just how I was perceiving things. And so, of course, there was a lock on the door. I put the key in the lock and the door opened, and all of a sudden, as I walked into the trunk of this tree, there was a spiraling staircase going all the way down. And of course, like the spiraling of sacred geometry and all that was not lost upon me. And so it was dark though. And I remember going down the stairs really slowly, and I got the message to use my own light to make it a bit brighter. So of course, I did that and kind of brightened the spiraling staircase as I went down. And as I came to the bottom, I walked into a room that was very much like a library. And there was a table right in the center of the room. And then on three sides of the walls, there were just tons of bookcases filled with books. But the books weren't solid completely. The way I saw it was almost like a transparent, digitized kind of library. Do you remember the movie? I'm trying to remember which movie. It was the one where Matthew McConaughey was in it. I want to say Inception, but I think that was with Leonardo DiCaprio. What was the one where Matthew McConaughey has to go out to space? Anyways, it's that one where at the end, he's kind of stuck between the dimensions and he's trying to, Interstellar, that's what it was, Interstellar. So when he's trying to communicate with his daughter to let her know he's still there, that's what I saw when you saw layers and layers of dimensions. And that's how I saw the books. So I would see dimensions and dimensions of all these books layer. I could just see through everything and how far back it went. So when I walked in, I was asked to go to the right, to go towards the right bookcase. And so I walk over there and I was told to pick up the red book. So I pick up this red book and on the cover, I see the word Pleiadians on that. So I take it over to the table to open it because I'm just kind of following what my intuition's telling me to do. And I place the book on the table, open it up, and I turn to a page where there's this kind of like a drawing of a Pleiadian face. And as I'm looking at it, all of a sudden it literally came to life on the page and started speaking to me. And it said, "Nicole, we've missed you so much." And that's all of the information I got. And it really just moved me to tears. And because I was really emotionally moved by that, it kind of broke my connection a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little bit itchy on my leg here. And so the meditation soon ended. I've since gone back into that place. In fact, the last couple of times I've gone in there, my inner child has brought me. And I'm always guided to a different spot. And sometimes the book is coming from way back in the depths of these dimensions and coming to the forefront. And a lot of times information is given to me, either I see it on the pages or I'm receiving it through downloads while I'm there. And it was within the second last time I've been in there. It was what gave me the clues to remembering some of the trauma that happened to me at 5 years old. Okay, she was giving me clues through the Akashic records. And so at the time, though, I was also receiving information through her of past lives. And so I always write down, when I come out of meditation, I'll write down all of the information. Some of it doesn't always make sense to me in that moment when I'm writing it down, but when I go back later on to read it, I may have gotten more information through dreams or other meditations, and it all starts to make sense. Some people can access the Akashic records, like Akashic readers, very easily and really well, and they get a lot of information in, and it's very different for each reader. But you're very much capable of going in there and getting the access to it to get whatever information you're ready to receive. And I think what's most important for you guys if you want to access the Akashic records, like every time I go there, excuse me, every time I go into the Akashic records, before I go in, it's always locked. Okay. And when I leave, I make sure that it is being sealed, locked. So it's always going in with a respect for the records and to go in with the intentions of your highest good. And also when you leave, to be thankful to the records and closing them. And so there'll be different ways that perhaps closing them means for you versus someone else. And for me, I just see, like, when I'm going in there now, there is no lock and key. It's almost like my hand, when I touch the tree trunk, it opens up into a portal, and my hand is the key, so to speak. It's like my DNA fingerprint or something like that is interfacing with the Akashic records for me to enter. And when I leave, I make sure that the portal is closed. And so accessing your Akashic records, if you put the intention out there, you're absolutely able to receive it. And you may have actually already accessed it and you don't even know. I've met a few people or talked to some of my clients who I'm working with where they're walking into libraries or places where there's lots of information and not realizing that's their Akashic records. It's one of these things where, you know, sometimes our human mind, our human brain wants it or expects it to be a certain way. And everything has to be very linear in that way, where if someone experienced it one way, then that must be the way that it's supposed to appear. But that's not the case at all. And we have to have a much more open-minded perspective and willingness to receive the information whatever way it's going to come to you. Because remember, we're all very different in how we're interacting with the energy. And some of us have strengths in certain areas and other people will have strengths in different areas. And so your guides, your higher self will know how to communicate with you and will show you the information in the way that they know you're going to receive it best. So the other thing that I want to talk about is to really not doubt yourself, even though it's really difficult, because even when I was in the Akashic records recently with my inner child, I thought in my mind, oh my gosh, while she's giving me information, I'm thinking, I'm just making this up in my head. You know, I was doubting myself while I was in there. And she sternly said back to me, no, you're not. I'm trying to give you the information. I need you to receive it. And so I was like, okay, I have been told. And I just really wanted to trust it. And of course, when I actually had an Akashic Records reading with an Akashic reader, all of that information was verified as true and was able to help me piece many things together. So accessing your Akashic record is really important on your belief system. You really need to be open-minded and believe that you are capable and able to access your Akashic records, and be open to how you're going to receive the information. It's something like your own intuition. When you slowly awaken, okay, when you start to awaken and go through your process, it's not like your intuitive abilities turn on like immediately. Like some of you may have certain things that turn on like, whoa, like now you're just seeing things through your third eye and it's like bang on, like right there. You can't even ignore it. But the likelihood is that things start to slowly turn on. And as you work with that ability, it gets stronger and stronger. And it's just like anything in this world. If you work your muscles out at the gym, the more you utilize a certain muscle group and utilize it in different ways, that whole muscle belly will get strong in all different kinds of ranges of motion. And so you've got to really kind of apply that sort of logical thinking to something that's a little bit illogical, okay, when to many people, okay, who may not even understand that this is a capability that many of us have. I should say all of us have. And understand that the more you use it, the stronger it'll become. And the stream of information that you receive will get stronger and stronger, and the clarity will come in. So try not to judge yourself, although it's very likely that you will. Be compassionate, be understanding, and when that judgment does happen or surface, tell yourself to let it go, because it's the judgment that always stops the intuitive abilities. It's that frequency that starts to lower your vibration so that you're not able to receive the stuff that's coming in that's higher vibe. So I know that this video isn't like a specific psychic 101 kind of thing on how to do it, but the reality is it's not that difficult, and it's just a matter of getting out of your own way, so to speak. And I'd be curious to hear from all of you in the comments below. For those of you who have access to your Akashic records, what your first experience has been, and if there's anything that really worked for you, like leave it in the comments, because perhaps what I'm saying may not work for someone, but what you're saying may work for them. So guys, that's my video for the Akashic Records. Thank you so much for everything. I hope this information was helpful. If you need any more information about me, just head on over to my website where I have a newsletter you can sign up to. Don't forget to check out my podcast, Enlighten Up, that comes out every Thursday. And if you're interested in joining my Alchemy program, that is open to all of you to join at any time you like. There's a lot of information in there that is helpful to your own personal journey, own spiritual development, as well as guided meditations and timeless readings. Guys, I love you so much, and good luck to all of you on accessing the Akashic Records. Just keep the willingness and the open-mindedness open, and let it build and develop in its own time. And you'll be surprised at how fast it can happen. Okay, I love you.